Greetings, classmates. This week I'm going to take a step away from experimental history and share a little about a topic of local history here in Klamath County, Oregon. I've been researching the Modoc Native American tribe and Modoc War as part of my work with the local museum and for various class projects. In particular, I've been looking into the events around the killing of General Canby and other members of the Peace Party by 6 Modoc on April 11, 1873. Specifically, I'm interested in the capture, incarceration, trial, execution, and burial of the 4 Modoc sentenced to death. 2 of the Modoc were convicted and sentenced, but the sentences were commuted to life in prison in Alcatraz in San Francisco Bay. It's important to note that the trial was actually a military tribunal, not a civilian trial. The Modoc War was an 11-month campaign from July 6, 1872 to June 4, 1873. On April 11, 1873, a peace commission meeting led by General Canby was not going well. Tensions rose, the Modoc weren't getting what they needed, and Captain Jack, Boston Charlie, Shanshan John, Black Jim, Broncho, and Slow Luck, all with a couple of other Modoc, fired on the commission members, killing General Canby and mortally wounding Reverend Thomas. The others in attendance managed to escape. By June 4th, all of Captain Jack's band of Modoc had either been killed or captured. The surviving Modoc were led to Fort Klamath, arriving on July 4th. The 6 were tried between July 5th and July 8th and sentenced to death on July 8th. The tribunal officers, prosecution and defense, were all military personnel who had served Fort Klamath during the Modoc War. On September 10th, President Grant approved the death sentences of Captain Jack, Boston Charlie, Shanshan John, and Black Jim. Broncho and Slow Luck would be sent to Alcatraz. On October 3rd, 1873, 4 Modoc were hung at Fort Klamath. They were hung within view of the stockade where the rest of the Modoc, 39 men, 64 women, and 60 children, were being held before they were relocated to Quapaw Agency in Oklahoma. The October 1st and October 3rd issues of the New York Herald devoted nearly half pages to the Modoc War and the executions. Stories ran in dozens of newspapers across the country. Many of the articles were on page 1 and above the fold. The Modoc War had a national impact and contributed significantly to the shifts in President Grant's peace policy and in U.S. Indian policy overall. According to a recently rediscovered journal at the Klamath County Museum, Captain Jack was not aware that he was to be executed until the day before his execution. The 4 executed Modoc were beheaded and buried on the grounds of Fort Klamath, where they are still. Their heads were sent back to Washington, and they were eventually repatriated.